welcome. My name is Sunny Kim, and I'm the program coordinator for UCSB's ABA program. And today we have the fabulous Miss Savannah, who is one of our amazing instructors and board member, who will be giving us some overview of our applied behavior analysis program. And this is recorded so that we can share this information because I know we get a lot of similar FAQs throughout the quarter, so we can post this on our courses for the spring 2025 quarter.
Wonderful. Well, here on our first slide, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Dr. Kim.
Okay, so my name is Sunny Kim, and I have a PhD in education. I graduated from UCSB in 2014, and my specialty is autism spectrum disorder. And specifically, I provide treatment utilizing pivotal response treatment. We're pivotal response training. I've worked for PACE since 2016, and it's been so fun to see our program grow since 2016. So over the last 9 years, definitely our program has grown. I think the first time I taught it, we had maybe 9 students, and here we are with many instructors and many different courses and different pathways. What I'm super excited about is we recently received a grant to kind of develop an NDBI program. And so we've partnered with a local hospital in China where we are piloting an NDBI certificate program. And I'm super excited to announce that this is our newest program that we're offering at PACE. It's the NDBI program. There's a total of 4 courses, and we're figuring out the supervision piece. But once students successfully complete each of the courses, you guys get a digital badge. And upon completing all 4 courses, you will get a professional certificate from UCSB PACE that awards you as a professional certified NDBI personnel. And so we're very excited about this program. I think we're the first university to have some sort of professional certificate or some sort of like professional acknowledgement about NDBI. NDBI is naturalistic developmental behavioral intervention. And I like to think of it as a marriage between the science of ABA and the science of developmental psychology. It's like those two fields got married and they had NDBI. So that's our newest program. Right now, because it is still in the infancy stage and we're trying to recruit students, it's very, very affordable. So if you guys do have an opportunity, please do take a look at the courses that we offer through NDBI. Okay.
Wonderful. That is so great to hear. That's the first I'm hearing that our course is up and running, so that's wonderful. All right, and then I am Savannah Groth. I am a former gaucho myself, so I went to my undergrad at UCSB. I really love the school, I love the community, and so it was really exciting to be able to participate as well as a teacher. It's a really nice to be on that instructor end. I pursued my master's in teaching with an emphasis in applied behavior analysis many years ago now, probably about 2015, I finished that. I've worked in a variety of professional settings, providing different ABA therapies. So I've worked in home, I've worked in clinic, I've worked in schools, I've worked telehealth, and I'm actually doing a really interesting quality assurance role now. So I'm getting to see all the different sides of all the different funding sources and the different ways that we interact in our field. But one of my very favorite things to do is to teach. So I am really passionate about teaching. I love supervision. I love finding budding ABA practitioners, whether they're RBTs, BCBAs, BCABAs, or anyone pursuing any of the QBA pathways. And it's just been really nice to get to know people, especially through UC Santa Barbara, that are all around the world. I've had supervisees in different countries. I've had supervisees in Romania. I've had them in Australia. I most recently was meeting with someone who was in the Philippines. So no matter what your time zone is, we can make that work. It's really interesting and fun to be able to have this web technologies that we're able to have those digital interactions and we're able to chat with each other even if we are many, many miles apart. In general, I love working as a BCBA, and I get a lot of students asking me questions about what to do with their certification, what to do with all the different certifications we get, and I think that's a really interesting thing to explore. And please, please ask all your instructors, what have you done with your credential? How do you work in the field of ABA? Because we all have a slightly different background, and it's really nice to get that experience. All right, so if you are new to the field, we do have a number of training courses. So if this is your first exposure to ABA and you are wondering, wow, what do I do with applied behavior analysis? I don't know where to start. Our introductory training courses might be a really good place to begin. So as Dr. Kim mentioned, we do have that NDBI set up. That is something that we are offering fall, winter, spring, and summer. We also have What's Next? Navigating life after school, meaning what's next navigating life after school for our participants, not just for us. We have registered behavior technician training. So if you are working in the field one-to-one as an RBT, this is a great way to get your certificate if you've not already. If you have not ever worked in the field, this is also a really good place to begin. I tell a lot of my supervisees that one of the best places to start is with the RBT exam and making sure that you can go through those competencies because those are really practicing the building blocks of ABA. Next up, we have our basics of ABA and clinical intervention strategies. So if you've already kind of mastered the basics, you might want to start moving into more of the direction, figuring out what those interventions look like. So that's a really good place to go. Again, you can take any of these any quarter, which is really convenient and hopefully is something that will allow you to get a little bit more information. Each of them is a 40-hour training course offered by our Behavior Supports and Systems series. You can become competent in any of these areas by completing just that 40-hour course. Each one, I believe, is completely asynchronous, so it doesn't have to take place at any particular time. If you have a lot of time today or with spring break coming up, want to get some extra work in, you can do so with one of these courses and not have to worry about the pacing or having each week new assignments due. So please take a look at that, see if that's something that's interesting to you. All right, so here is a video about applied behavior analysis showcasing some of our fantastic instructors. Let me make sure I am sharing my computer sound. All right, here we go. We have a really fantastic applied behavior analysis program here at UCSB.
We have some great benefits to the course.
We have a very affordable program because our program is all online, which is really helpful.
We do have frequent discounts for students who are interested in our program.
You have direct contact with your instructors and you can arrange office hours at your leisure. The one-on-one supervision.
We're able to offer supervision hours at an asynchronous level, which can be really helpful if you don't have a lot of BCBAs in your area.
In the world of applied behavior analysis, it does require that you receive practicum hours in addition to the coursework that you're completing, and so it's a perfect balance.
For anyone who has a job, family, or other responsibilities, who's trying to pick up their BCBA or BCABA on the way to doing something different. And we have a lot of different BCBA exam prep courses available through our university.
We are here to help support and help you achieve your goal of becoming a future behavior analyst.
Sign up.
We look forward to having you take some of our classes.
I'd love to be your instructor.
Hope to see you there.
Thank you.
All right, so a really great place to go is our website, of course. That will give you all of this information written down so you can reference it. But I will go through a lot of it today and try and get some explanation out of the way that goes a little bit beyond the numbers. So the first coursework requirement I want to talk about is our BCABA track. A lot of people ask, what is this? A BCBA is a board certified behavior analyst, and a BCABA is a board certified assistant behavior analyst. This allows you to have a little bit quicker course time to get through. You have slightly less coursework hours. You have far less coursework supervised fieldwork hours, which, by the way, is the main thing that is standing between you and your certifications. Supervised fieldwork hours do take up the biggest part of your time. I often have a lot of students saying, how quickly can I finish? And that is truly the part that you need to look at the most. How can you complete your supervised hours? And how many months is that going to take you? Completing all of these procedures will get you your BCABA. So, well, it'll get you ready to get your BCABA, which is going to be an exam administered by the BACB. Just another acronym, the Behavior Analysis Certification Board. So consider that this is a great stepping stone. A lot of people pursue a BCABA first. They work in the field, they make sure that they like it, they get that higher salary, which is really convenient when you've spent many years as an RBT, and then they're able to get their BCBA afterwards. So if you are looking to do something quickly, if you aren't sure how long it'll take to get your fieldwork hours and you want to meet those requirements a little early, this is a really great place to start. Very similarly from our QBA counterpoint, we have the QASPS track. It's a mouthful, but it means the Qualified Autism Service Practitioner Supervisor. So this is the same kind of corresponding certification, BCABA, QASPS. So both require a bachelor's degree. You do not have to have a master's or a PhD for this program. This is a very helpful if you're looking at the QABA certified track. Very, very helpful for those living internationally. If you are not able to get to the United States to take the BCBA exam, this is a really, really easy way to do so. You can go through the QABA board. They're certified. They have lots of international exams. They provide the exam in many different languages, which is not something you can get from the BACB. And it's very, very similar, if not identical, certification in almost every practicing standpoint. Oh, go ahead.
Going to mention for QASPS as well as the QBA, which we'll talk about there's now several states that have recognized this as equivalent to the BCABA track. So it is also getting a lot of momentum within the United States.
Yes, I was just going to say I've had a number of students who are taking both exams, getting both certifications, going through the whole process twice. But it also can be really helpful. You'll see it on job applications. So I would encourage you to look at your state, see what they require if you're within the United States or the state that you want to work in, and see what is available to you. So you'll see very, very similar. You have to complete coursework hours for the BCABA 225. For the QASPS, it's 188. You have to accrue 1,300 hours of supervised fieldwork for the BCABA. QASPS, only 1,000. Both of them need 5% of those supervised by either a BCBA or QBA professional. You have to receive your professional recommendation and background attestation for both. And for the QASPS, you have your competencies worksheet, and you have to pass the QABA exam with a 72% or higher. For a BCABA track, you have to pass the exam by the BACB. There is a score they want you to hit 400. They don't tell you exactly what the percentage is, but it is very similar. So again, these two are completely equivalent certifications. It just depends on where you want to practice, if they're both recognized, and how many hours you want to get. If you look at the QASPS, you have a little bit less hours, a little bit fewer. So once again, this is a fast track. If you want to go speedy, if that is your top priority, this might be a really good way to get in quickly so that you can qualify and certify for that exam earlier. So here are our courses for this track. You will notice that we have fall, winter, spring, and summer. Those are our 4 quarters. UCSB works on a quarter system. So if you're used to a semester, it's going to go a lot faster. A typical semester is about 18 weeks and a quarter is 10. So you kind of race through, you get everything done, and hopefully by the time you're at that final, you haven't even had a chance to forget anything yet. So keep in mind that the classes come quickly. I definitely recommend taking courses one at a time, unless you are absolutely positive that your supervision is going to be finished really soon. For example, if you've already started some of your courses elsewhere and you're only finishing the last 1 or 2, that might be a time to take extra classes. Or if you aren't working right now and this is something that you are focusing 100% of your time on, then maybe you might want to take 2 courses when they're available. However, it is a lot easier to keep yourself going, to keep everything easy when you have just 1 per quarter. So you'll see a lot of quarters, or at least in the fall and the summer, there are only 1 course offered for the BCABA track. In the QASPS track, you'll have 2 available in the fall, 1 in the winter, 1 in spring, and 1 in summer. So these courses are really similar. You will notice they have the same numbers. You will be in the same course with people in both tracks. It's just a slightly different organization of which ones you have to take. So for our BCABA track, we have a slightly different ethics based on the BACB's ethics codes. And for our QASPS track, we have an ethics and supervision course based on the QABA ethics code. So ever so slightly different, really, really similar content. Another difference is the BC ABA track has a course called Personnel Supervision and Management, which is not a standalone course for the QASPS, which kind of qualifies or quantifies that difference in hours between the two. But other things that you'll learn about, both tracks will learn about behavior assessment and intervention, meaning our functional behavior assessment and how to complete interventions. They'll both learn about single case design, so you'll get a ton of information about graphing, kind of a rush back to your bachelor's statistics class to get a little bit of math in there. We'll also talk about our philosophical underpinnings, concepts, and principles, meaning the kind of basics and the framework of ABA as our field as a whole. All right, so let's go ahead and watch our next video. We're going to learn a little bit more about our QBA certification.
My name is Dimitri Dimitriou. I'm a doctor, I'm a developmental pediatrician. And here in UCSB, we will be offering you a QBA training program that will lead you up to the certification that you so much want to achieve. What is QBA? It's Qualified Behavior Analyst. It's what BCBA used to be.
The flexibility of our program allows you to attend and participate at the convenient time for you.
Our supervision can be offered in multiple languages, is very flexible and versatile, and can also be given in your time zone. We're here to provide you with the proper training and also give you our experience on the field internationally, online or on-site live. The way to do it, you choose, but we are here for you.
So again, we do have a very big international population at our UCSB PACE program, and we are very accustomed to different time zones, looking at different conversions, working slightly different hours to make sure everything works. So please don't feel that no matter what time zone you're in, that we can't make it work for you. Like I said, I've had students in time zones that are 12, 13, 14 hours ahead. We've definitely made those work. We've found times that work for the both of us, and it takes a little flexibility, but it's definitely something that we can handle. All right, so our next coursework requirements that we're going to talk about are the BCBA and the QBA track. So once again, the board certified the board certified behavior analyst and the qualified behavior analyst. So very, very similar. You're going to see that the qualifications are once again nearly identical requirements, and it's just going to be about where you're going to practice, which one is more important or more beneficial in your setting. So BCBA and the QBA track will both require a graduate degree. So you might need you will need a master's or a PhD in order to apply. We do not provide that. You will not earn a master's through our program, the certificate only. So that's something you have to take care of at a different area. Of course, you're welcome to attend UCSB, but that's not going to happen through our PACE courses. It could be in any field. Something else important to consider is a lot of people will say, oh, I've worked in a different field and I want to transition into ABA. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Your master's does not have to be an ABA. I'm probably calling myself out here, but when I was in school back in my day, there were very, very few ABA programs. So it is only a really new thing to have an ABA master's standalone. So that's not something that a lot of BCBAs have that you know. If you are concurrently earning a graduate degree, you're also welcome to take our courses. Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Kim.
I was going to say, I think the requirements are going to change though as of 2020s. I think it's 6 or 7, or no, maybe 20. It's going to change within the next few years where you do have to get a master's in ABA. I think for now, any master's is sufficient, but that's going to change. Do you remember when it is, Savannah?
I know they announced it, but they often announce things several years in advance, so I don't recall the year off the top of my head.
Look it up while you finish.
Okay, I know that I think there was also some allocation for some of the social sciences as well.
Okay.
But anyhow, so we'll take a look and double check on that year for you. But for this year, this quarter, you are good to go with any master's or PhD. To complete this program, you want to, of course, and with all of our programs, pass with a C or better. And for our BCBA track, we're also adding what's called our competency course. So that is something different than the standard VCS. That is a special course offered only at UCSB. We are offering what we call the competency course is going to allow you to take some exam prep. So I have a whole slide on that later. We'll get into more detail, but just know that that's required for this track. So for our BCBA track, that would be 315 coursework hours. So again, a little bit more than our BCABA and our QASPS. And you still have that coursework attestation. And now the big difference is 2,000 supervised fieldwork hours instead of 1,300 or 1,000 for the QASPS. So this is a lot of supervised fieldwork hours. This is going to take you roughly 2 years to complete if you are able to get close to the maximum of 130 per month. So just keep that in mind for this track. You will need a lot more supervision in terms of those fieldwork hours. And then, of course, you're going to pass that exam. The QBA track, very similar. You're going to complete 270 pre-approved coursework hours, and then you only have to accrue 1,500 supervised fieldwork hours. So once again, a little bit less, and this might be a quicker, speedier path for you if you are slugging along with those fieldwork hours and you want to make sure that you're getting there quicker. Again, you have to receive that professional recommendation and background attestation, complete your QBA competencies worksheet, and pass the exam with 72% or better. So again, these are both 7-course tracks, and this is something that you will be moving through. I'll show you what the courses look like in a moment, but very, very similarly to our BCABA. Dr. Kim, did you find that year yet?
Their website seems to be down, so.
Oh no! Okay, well, we can always add that on later. Okay, so again, for the BCBA and the QBA track, we're going to take the same 7 courses. So we have, again, our single case experimental design, we have behavior assessment and intervention. Those are the same from our BCABA course in terms of the topics. We have our philosophical underpinnings, but you'll notice that there is a part 1 and part 2. A lot of things that you can consider in our BCABA versus BCBA and our QASPS versus QBA courses is that you're just going to go on a deeper dive. Where in our other courses, we might have more of a just giving you some ideas and some basics about the field. For these courses, we really go in a little bit deeper. This takes a little bit more research and a lot more understanding of the kind of nuts and bolts. So again, we have procedures, interventions, and supervision, and then we have a couple of new courses. One of them is our cognitive development in autism and other severe disabilities. This is a really cool course. It is actually my favorite course of all of them because this one changes so frequently. We get a lot of new research and new and exciting topics there. We want to learn about our different types of disabilities, especially autism, and it's a really cool course that gets to showcase a lot of information that you may not know if you don't work in the field or you don't know many people with autism or other severe disabilities. So I love that course. I think it's a really fun one.
So before you go, I did find it. So 2032. So we have
2032. We've got some time.
for the international folks, there are some more restrictions coming. So starting next year, if you're from the UK, you will no longer be able to apply for the BCBA or BCABA track. And then in 2020, and then
I believe the same goes for Australia as well.
That's 2027. So next year, 2026, it's UK and Ontario, the people from Canada, and then 2027, it's going to be the folks in Australia. So
Yeah, so and if you're in any of those countries, make sure that you consider that before you get started. You're going to want to make sure that you have time to complete your course and your supervision before that date. Okay, so then we have our professional issues and developmental disabilities. That's another course here. It goes into kind of an ethics kind of look there. It gives you a lot of ideas about what types of professional issues you might face as a behavior analyst. And then, of course, we have our competency course, which allows us to have just a lot of exam prep. Again, we're going to talk about that a little bit more deeply, just like we will for our study prep program and our supervision course. Once again, I do want to note that we don't offer every single course every single quarter. So there are 2 in fall, 1 in winter, 2 in spring, and 2 in summer. Keep that in mind. A lot of students like to take 1 course at a time. And again, I highly recommend it, especially if you're working and this is a part-time school for you. But do keep in mind that in winter it is just one offered. So if you need that course, make sure you take it. You want to make sure that you're taking things as they come up. Also, our courses can be taken in any order, meaning if you take Philosophical Underpinnings Part 2 in the spring, you don't have to have a prerequisite for Part 1 before you take it. It might make a little more sense if you wait and took it after, but it's okay if you get started in the middle. I will also say that our behavior assessment intervention course that we offer in the fall is one of the more challenging and dense courses. So if you can take that one towards the end, that might be a little easier. Lucky for you guys, we're starting in spring, so you'll have several quarters under your belt by that time. The only course that requires other courses to be completed would be the ABA competency course. You can take it in your last quarter, meaning at the same time as your final courses, or you can wait and take it all on its own. Okay, so doing a little bit more of a deep dive into our optional programs, one of our supplements is supervision. Supervision is exactly what it sounds like. This is access to a BCBA to help supervise you and get you those supervised fieldwork hours. Keep in mind that we are fully remote, meaning this is going to be a virtual supervision. If you have a supervisor that you work with, that might be a little bit easier for you, but this course is designed for students who do not have supervisors available to sign off on their fieldwork hours. In order to complete this, you must be enrolled in each quarter to complete that accrual of hours, meaning this isn't a one and done. This is every single quarter until you finish. Often for our supervisees, they'll take this course even after they've completed their other ones at UCSB, so you may continue to take it for several quarters. As I said, our BCBA students, our QBA students typically need closer to 2 years to complete that. We do provide supervisors in different time zones, as you heard in our video. We have supervisors who speak multiple languages, and we are available to really kind of suit your needs. If you want to, like I said, we have instructors with all different types of backgrounds, all different types of work that we participate in outside of UCSB, so we can really match you with someone who has similar interests and can hopefully help you to learn even more. While it's recommended that you're working with clients in an ABA capacity to take this course, there are some opportunities available for UCSB to help support you in finding clients to work with. I will say, if that is the only thing you're relying on, it will be hard to max out your hours every month. We will do what we can. But if you need to supplement, or if you, for example, I've had students who are in like teaching jobs, maybe in the summer don't have a client, or in the winter time, there are ways that we can help you to supplement there. And then, of course, our live supervision of a session and or video recording of the client for monthly supervisor review is required. So keep in mind that if you have your own workplace, you're going to want to make sure that that's okay with them. We have a lot of forms that they would need to fill out so that we can make sure to get that release of information, both from the client and from your workplace if you have a different workplace. This course consists of a mix of group assignments and one-to-one virtual meetings. So while most of our courses, you will have every week assignments, readings, homework to do, you'll watch a lecture. This course is different. This one is a lot more tailored to your individual interests. You'll have a small cohort, probably 3 to 5 students in your cohort. You'll complete those group assignments monthly instead of weekly. And then you'll have one-to-one virtual meetings, typically weekly, but your schedule may vary. It depends on what your availability is like. So those meetings are one-to-one with an instructor. You'll be able to review your session videos, you'll be able to talk through interventions, you'll be able to get really specific. And that's a really great way to build your career development and make sure that you're getting all that you can out of your supervised fieldwork hours. Next up, we will talk about the competency course. So our competency course, again, comes at the very end, either in the last quarter or after you've completed your other courses. And this is designed to ensure mastery of the material. I teach this course every quarter. This is one where students are always asking me, what is this new course? Because it is relatively new. We've only done it for about a year or so. But it consists of, once again, not a weekly assignment, not a weekly lecture. We just have our 2 half-length mock exams, 1 full-length mock exam, and then what's called an oral competency. So I know it sounds terrifying, but you have the entire quarter, the entire 10 weeks to complete it. And these are going to be based to help you practice for that BCBA or that QBA exam. So again, that full exam is 4 hours long, about 175 questions, and our 2 half-length exams are about 80 questions each. So this will allow you to break down the Test content outline is what it's called now, our 6th edition, so that we're able to see what parts of the test that you're struggling the most with. You'll have different optional assignments to complete for extra study help. You have access to your instructor to come chat, to send emails, to ask about questions. Why is this question wrong? What is the correct answer? Walk me through the rationale. And that's really helpful in getting you just prepared to take that exam. So again, 2 half-length exams, 1 full-length exam, and then the oral competency is pretty short. It's a verbal review of 5 randomized questions from the new test content outline or the QVA competency standards. So you'll get asked a question like, for example, tell me 2 different types of schedules of reinforcement and explain how you would collect data for them. So you would have to answer verbally. There's not a multiple choice, but it is something where you talk through it and it really helps you to get a better mastery of the material. So once a student meets mastery criteria for each of those assignments, they pass the course. I've had students pass as quickly as 2 weeks into the course and as late as, the very last day of term. So it's completely up to you. It is self-paced, and if you want to get through quickly, you can. Once you are completed with all of those requirements, you can submit your coursework attestation or your QBA competencies worksheet to Dr. Kim, and then she will sign off on that for you so that you're ready to apply. And then our BCBA track only, so this is not for our QBA students. This is the BDS modules. BDS is the Behavior Development Solutions, part of the CBA Learning Module series. So it's a subscription-based learning platform with weekly assignments. We use this as our homework, typically. They are posted on Canvas. You can find them in your course syllabus. And again, this is only for those taking that BCBA exam, because these questions are based on the BCBA exam. So each of the module receives credit based on your score. They are anywhere from like 7 or 8 questions to some of them are really long, maybe 20 or 22. Essentially what you'll do is complete them. If you have 100%, you receive 10 out of 10 points. And then if not, you can retake as well a reasonable number of times. I think they cap you at about 20 times for retakes. But you can continue to retake and get a higher score over time. If you got a 98, you would get 9.8 out of 10 points. It's just a way to be able to show that you're getting credit and make sure that you're practicing. Those due dates will be posted to BDS, the syllabus, and our weekly module, so you will definitely know that they're due. You'll have an idea of which ones. We work through different sections that correspond to the course you're in. And then, of course, they have a really wonderful curriculum supplement exam prep. Well, they are a really wonderful curriculum supplement exam prep tool because they have a money-back guarantee. So if you do not pass the BCBA or the BCABA exam after completing the series, they will allow you to retake it for free. They'll extend your subscription free of charge because they are so confident that you will pass. So they have a 98.5% pass rate, and this is a really good study tool. A lot of my students tell me, oh, like BDS is so boring, or it's a lot of work, or it's a lot of questions. And I felt the same way when I was in grad school, but I do think that it helped me to pass the exam on the first try. And it was really helpful to get that practice in and really see the types of questions that are asked. So if you're taking the BCBA track, prepare yourself. You have some homework. All right, and then here is our pricing for UCSB PACE courses. So we have our UCSB students, international students have slightly different pricing. And then you will see that public is everybody else who is not international and is not a student at UC Santa Barbara currently. So the UCSB students do get a 25% discount, which is pretty great. But otherwise, these are our courses. So remember that individual courses are a little bit different than our competency course, our supervision course, our study prep course, and those learning module series. They're all priced differently based on the type of course it is. And this information can be found on our website, but it is nice to have it handy. Okay, another optional program supplement is our study prep program. So this course is designed for students who want additional support beyond the competency course. This is a really neat 6-week course with a pre-test and a full-length mock exam. So you do a pre and post exam to see how much you've learned over the course of the quarter. Or the course of the 6 weeks, I guess, not quite a quarter. But this includes 4 weekly live lectures, meaning you would have a lecture just like this webinar where you could attend, ask questions in person, section, and you can discuss task list items, most missed exam questions, all with your instructor. There is some like slides, there is some information that we're sharing that's new, but the primary focus of this course is to really just dive deep into those questions and discuss them and discuss the topics that are important to answer each of those test questions. There are also pre-recorded mini lessons. They're kind of bite-sized content about tricky topics. If you want to watch those 10-minute bursts, they can be really helpful, especially if you're struggling with a concept that might be a little tricky for you. There are also optional homework tasks to support exam study. Just like our competency course, the study prep program is just pass or fail, meaning if you complete the criteria, you do not. So don't feel like you need to do extra homework if you don't want to. But we do have a lot of students who say, how can I study? What can I do to pass the exam? And this is always the first thing I suggest. Our study prep program is really helpful and gives you a lot of individualized support. There's a live discussion board you can discuss with your cohort. Our classes are, again, fairly small in this cohort. I would say less than 10 typically. So it's a really nice way to get lively discussion. You can actually get to know your peers a little bit better than in our bigger courses. Then, of course, there's additional test study materials and access to your very own BCBA to ask any question you need for those 6 weeks. One of our other things we do that is something that you're participating in right now, even if you're watching this recording, is quarterly webinars. So in addition to our open house ABA webinars, we do have new webinars on really new and exciting topics every quarter. They are free to attend. Tell your friends, students, instructors, anyone can attend, but they allow us to hear different perspectives and get insight into the applied nature of our work outside of the classroom. These are a couple of recent topics, Introduction to Acceptance and Commitment Training, or ACT, and we also have some guest lectures, like an Autistic BCBA's Insights, Navigating ABA with Lived Experience. So keep in mind that you might see really cool guest stars, you might see some of your instructors. There's a really great, collaboration of people that we bring to these webinars, and it's a really nice way to get some extra info. Tips for success. So in general, when you are taking a virtual course, a lot of people tell me, Savannah, I haven't taken a course in a long time, or it's been a while since I've been in college. I haven't had those courses. How do I do this now that I'm working full time? So in general, a virtual course is going to be challenging in the same ways that an in-person course is. And you want to use a lot of those same tools that you would use in the traditional classroom. So I remind students, set calendar reminders for all your due dates in your own time zone, especially if you are in a different time zone, a very different one than ours. You might have something due at 3 a.m. That doesn't mean you have to submit it at 3 a.m. Just set it for yourself to be due at 5 or 8 or whatever time is better for you. You want to set aside time weekly to review your course content and complete assignments. I find that if you have a schedule, maybe Mondays or Sundays or Wednesdays are your day that you review things, you're going to be more on top of it and lose less things, lose track of less, than if you just kind of do it as you go whenever you remember. Your instructors will have office hours sessions, so attend those, ask your questions in real time, or if that time is not convenient for you, set up a one-to-one meeting. I find that my students who score the highest are often the ones who are setting up meetings or coming to office hours to ask their questions, because it's much quicker than just sending an email to get all your ideas across, and you can ask multiple questions at once. Another really great tip for success is completing your weekly readings ahead of the lecture video. So a lot of students see the lecture video recorded and want to watch it immediately. I appreciate that. And if you want to read ahead, that's a great thing for you. But I do strongly encourage everyone to pick up their book first and preview the content so that it's a little bit easier to understand that lecture. If you have your book open, you can pause the lecture, go to the page that we're talking about, find a concept, look up a vocabulary term, and it's a really nice way to do those things in tandem. And when you're watching the lecture video, please take notes. One of the nicest things about having a virtual instructor is that you can pause, rewind, go back, have me repeat things over and over. I've had students who said, oh, one of the best things was being able to pause and go all the way back to the start of the lecture and say, what did she say at the beginning? Hold on, is that the same? What topic are we talking about? So please take advantage of that. That's something really helpful that you don't get in a traditional classroom. And then, of course, before your quiz begins, make sure that you have all of your materials prepared. You want to review those notes you took during lecture. You want to review your textbook. You want to review all of your information so that you are fully ready for that quiz. Each weekly quiz, you only get one opportunity to take, and you want to make sure those scores are high because that is a big percentage of your grade. So some perks of our PACE program. Our classes are virtual, which means they are totally asynchronous. Outside of that study prep course, everything is something that you can view anytime you like. People who have little kids might want to wait till they go to bed or are at school to complete these tasks. You are welcome to do so. If you have an unusual work schedule, if you're a night owl, if you're an early morning person, all of these courses can work for you. We have seasoned BCBA instructors with real industry experience and diverse backgrounds. So again, please use it to your advantage. Take courses with different instructors, ask them about their work, and see what types of things you can do with your certification. Our instructors are available via email, live weekly office hours, or by appointment for one-to-one support. We, of course, have those quarterly webinars we talked about on current topics, and we have supervision. So if you don't have a supervisor where you are, or if your supervisor doesn't have a BCBA certification or is not available to you, that is not a problem. We can help you get that supervision that you need to complete your fieldwork hours. And then, of course, we have multiple supports for passing the big exam. Our competency course and study prep courses allow you to hone your test taking skills. Alrighty, do we have any questions?
That was very thorough and a lot of information. I will share one fun thing I just learned is if you are an international student, our video that we use, GauchoCast, it will provide translated subtitles.
That's true.
If you guys need that subtitle, definitely reach out to your instructor because that is a feature that is available through our videos, which is absolutely amazing because I know we do get a good amount of international students. Well, thank you so much, Savannah, for your time. I don't think we have any questions. But if you do, please definitely ask your instructors throughout the quarter. We're here to support you, and we hope that you enjoy our program.
Excellent. Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Kim.